got everything set. I sent out the invites and everything like that, and we are for what it's worth, we're ready. Hey guys, whoever happens to show up, or if you see this later or whatever, stream time, right? Okay, it is Friday. I'm coming in like a half an hour early, which I don't foresee that being any kind of an issue. To be fair, yeah. Let me make sure that things are going right. Looks like we are. Yeah, looks like I'm live. Things are going. Okay. Yeah, as far as I can tell, everything's running. Good. Absolutely. Awesome. So, what's up? Beings that my birthday is on the 30th, I figured I would just make this like I'd come in a little early and hang out and talk, and we might unbox something. I have it all, whatever. I'm going to do some window shopping, and because I do have something at some point that I need to do. And then at the same point also, let's see, sorry, my mind is all scattered. I have no idea why. I think it's just that it's like the end of the night. These work weeks have been rough on me, and I even took time off this time, and I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I'm draining. If I had to be honest here, I'm not bringing the stream down or anything like that. I think it's the whole diabetes thing. I actually think that's what it is. I'm diabetic type 2, and being that it's my birthday, I've just been kind of going nuts, right? And doing like I eat what I want and I go where I want, and it's not exactly a good thing for me. In all honesty, it doesn't do me any favors, because when I eat bad, it drains me fast, because then your sugar goes out of whack and things like that. It's stupid, but like, hey, it's your birthday and you want to eat good, you don't want to just do the same thing, and that's what it is. I'm positive that's the reason that I'm constantly on the verge of like being very tired in these last two streams, because I've just been kind of going nuts these couple days. You just celebrated your birthday, huh? Pretty cool. That's awesome. Brought the house down. What'd you do? That's interesting. No, that's awesome. So you got a January birthday as well, huh? So we got Chris Baker here. I like that, by the way, that I finally got that working. I think that's gonna be a benefit, not just to this stream, but I think when we get running and things like when Fandom Night comes back and everything, which isn't too far behind. We're not way too far from actually bringing that back. That's going to be cool that we're going to be able to bring up and field comments on the screen like that. I think that's really cool. Oh, thank you, Masterversal Toy Hunter in here with the happy birthday. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I love it, man. I haven't got a chance to check, but I saw that I think you just said something too. I did like 2 small videos today for like for TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. And I thought I saw just recently that you'd said something, but I haven't really had a chance to field it. I use my phone as my second light. so yeah. This is awesome though. I'm really happy to have this thing up and running, because I played around with that for a while and it would not work for a while. Because you have to get like a plug, and then you have to get the like URL, and it's a little bit confusing. I use OBS, so it took me a minute, because I'd never done it. It took me a minute to figure out how it works. It's similar to a system that I used when I was at work, when I had to do something like this for a type of meeting thing, but I'd never actually done it for our streams or anything, so I'd never set it up in this system before. And when I first set it up, it didn't have the chroma keyer, so it was just like a black screen that would put up the comments or whatever. It was not the best. Blurred the stereo, something I don't get to. So you don't get to play the stereo often, all big and everything. Really, that's interesting. 'Cause you strike me like a dude that's always like music. Like that's your thing. So it surprises me. But I guess, to be fair, I mean, heck, you can rock out with them headphones. You want the truth of it. I mean, but look, so I've been told that I'm gonna get about $100 is coming to me. So this window shopping actually comes with a bit of a purpose, because if I find something that really catches my fancy, I'm going to get it. And the other part, if I don't find something that catches my fancy, that really grips me, that's okay too, because I have something else in the background that I kind of want. And it's going to cost real money. So with a surprise $100 in my pocket that I did not have, I could go ahead and start collecting the Super Scroll line, because there are two. The Doctor Doom from that line is expensive. He's like a $70 drop, and I would actually have that. So if I don't find anything today that really jumps out at me, that's probably what I'm going to do. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Oh yes, indeed I did there. But you get to these comments. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I will. I try to is the best that I could say about that. I always try to hit up comments to try to field back to say, because I mean, like, you have to, right? I mean, it's important in general to go ahead and like keep up with your comments. I know I can't do everything. Sometimes every now and then a video gets crazy and I just cannot keep up, but for the most part I really do. I try to keep up with all of it. Let's see. Oh, are you kidding? Oh, of course I saw Revolution. I not only seen it, I watched the entire thing in a single unbroken sitting, and man, I love it. There's just no other way to say it. I love it. Like, I can't get, I'm telling you guys, and I've already seen like the hate channels coming in on this, where they're like, oh my God, He-Man this and blah, blah, blah. And like, you can very blatantly tell some of the stuff that the hate channels are saying, where they're like, there's nobody actually watching it and blah, 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 and this and that. Stop. They're just loud. They're not real. They can't be real. I'm telling you something right now. With what they did at the end of that show, at the end of Revolution, I'm not going to give it away, but what they reveal at the end of Revolution, they do like a straight up Marvel teaser. And what they are teasing is a huge deal. It will change the foundation of Masters of the Universe from this point moving forward, if they have finally fixed it. And if you know, you know that this hasn't happened since the 1980s. It has not happened. It has not been a thing. It's going to be a huge, 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 huge deal. And I'm telling you, I'm nothing but exciting. I'm nothing but excited. I was thrilled at how William Shatner did. I was a little worried, because sometimes William Shatner, he can ham it up. And there are some things that you don't want his hands in because of that. So like, I'm just telling you, it's crazy. And like I'm telling you. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what's coming. If you know, you know. It's just like in the Marvel movies. They showcase something at the end, and if you knew what it was that they were showcasing, just like when Thanos is like, fine, I'll do it myself. Or when he's sitting in the chair and you see glimpses of him and you know that's what's coming, but then there are other people that don't really know the mythology and everything, and they kind of have an idea. I'm telling you, if you know, you know. It's a huge, 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 huge deal. And I saw item after item after item after item. Talk about take my money. This shelf is going to fill up. I'm telling you, I want the Eternian Goddess. I want Havoc Tila. I want Last Form Tila. I want Last Form He-Man. That was really cool, by the way. Last Form He-Man was pretty awesome. I already have Gwildor and whatnot. I definitely want Keldor. That one was fantastic. And props to William Shatner for not overhamming it. He did a legit good job. I was impressed by his voice acting work. Like, it was very, very well done. I am legit impressed by what I saw. And not just in terms of that, like, the fight scenes were good. The idea was good. And they finally played into the mythology where they explain that Skeletor they're finally 100% biting the bullet. And I know you could say the 2000X series did it as well. I get that the 2000X series said, yes, Keldor is a thing, okay? But at the same time, it was never verified in the original series and never actually verified in the mini-comics that Keldor was Skeletor. So to have this story in place 100%, it's at this point there's no denying it. Like, it is what it is, but it's done so well. It's done so well in a way that pays homage to the original mini-comics and allows him to be a demon from another universe, while at the same time playing into the idea that everybody's theory and the 2000X show was also right. He is Keldor. It respected the material in a way that I really, really liked. And I actually have not seen that, Jake. I want to see those movies. I do, because I heard he did a good job in it. Not just because I'm like a William Shatner fan. That's not what I'm talking about. I just want to see it because I honestly think it's going to be good. Like, I've heard that Batman movie is tremendous. The one where they actually brought back and they have the 60s Batman going on and everything. I've heard it's done very, very well. Let's see. And they even snuck in one Star Trek line. Yeah. Oh man. I was amazed. I'm laughing at the superior intellect. I was impressed. And when he said that, the way he said it is what caught my attention, because when you're slipping in a line that's meant to be hammy, it's meant to throw back, it's meant to kind of be like, look what we did there. Did you see what we did there? But they respected it. He played that line serious so that it didn't break what was happening. It fit the scene perfectly, while at the same time did exactly what everybody knew it was. It was a Star Trek throwback line. Fantastic. Like, I can't praise it enough. I really cannot. I am legit impressed with Revolution. I don't know how you couldn't be. I'm 100% honest. I don't know how you can watch Revelation and then watch Revolution and sit there and be like, it's bad. It's not. It's so good. It's so good in so many ways. I can't get enough. I can't. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll tell you one thing. It better be available for me to buy. I want that. I want it on my shelf. I don't want, it's great that I have it on the streaming service or whatever. That's fine. I can watch it, but I want that. I want that physically. I want Revelation, and I want when they finish Revolution, because I'm curious if we're going to get another 5, like we did with Revelation, that we got a 10 episode deal. We got the first 5, then we waited, then we got another 5. If that's going to happen, if we get a second 5, which I'm hoping we do, because I'm hoping that the fallout of this event will close out the Horde and then take us into the Snake Men. I'm hoping we've set up the possibility of the Snake Men by reawakening a magic that was forgotten years past. I really hope we're doing that. I hope we're moving in that direction. Let's see. Well, no, see, that's just it. People think they know because they pick one continuity and they just say, that's it. There's no other continuity. That's what it is. No. Keldor was not Skeletor in the mini-comics. They gave you his backstory in the mini-comics. In the toys, he is not Keldor. He was not Keldor. That was not in the mini-comics. He had made reference that the discovery of the secret of Keldor could destroy him, but they never alluded 100% as to what that was. It was a throwaway line that they hadn't yet finished up. They gave him a backstory already in the mini-comics. And then in the series, in the original series, in the 80s series, they did not say he was Keldor. They referred to him as a demon multiple times that he was a creature from another universe that was deposited on Eternia. They say it in the animation multiple times that he's not of our universe if we lived in, Eternia. So, no, he was not Keldor. Keldor was something that was put in place and has been cemented in the 2000X series, but it was not guaranteed foolproof canon for a while. It's true that the comics and everything have been running with it for years, but the series, as of yet, except for one single series, really didn't dive. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I have not seen the He-Man CGI series. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it. I don't know. But to have this one say 100% and respect both continuities at once, absolutely fantastic. Let's see. But yes, many thought he was to voice Gwildor. I was wondering about that myself, actually. So it was a surprise that indeed we got the 87 movie-esque Gwildor voice. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And I'm happy they didn't change Gwildor like that. Absolutely. I'm really happy that we didn't have that happen. Because I wanted Gwildor to be that goofy gremlin-esque thing. I just think that really works for him. DVDs could be a thing of the past soon. And it's true. DVDs are going the wayside hard, and Blu-rays are following their tracks real close. It's becoming harder and harder to find them in stores and everything. And it's one of those things that this is one of those series that I want physically. And if they won't give me the ability to buy it, I'll find other means. Because I don't want this to fall off the streaming service and disappear. This show has been one of my favorite shows that I have ever watched. And I'm not exaggerating. Revelation built all this Motu stuff that you see. It's the reason I'm in Motu right now. I don't want it to disappear. I watched it. My daughter watched it. My wife watched it. And all of us watched it. I watched it by myself. Then my wife watched it with me. Then my kid watched it with me. Then my kid watched it by herself. Then all three of us watched it together to prep for Revolution. We love this show. We do not want this to disappear. I don't want to wake up one morning and find myself in the Disney situation where Spider-Man was just magically removed. I can't. I don't want it. I don't want it to disappear. Let's see. I feel I feel the physical DVDs and Blu-rays could soon be phased out. It's absolutely happening. We know that it's happening, and we know that it's been a long time coming. That this has been on the verge like this. That we're going to see these things start phasing out. It sucks, but there's no way that it wasn't going to happen. Let's see. And I can. You misunderstand where I was saying. I said, no, wait a second. That I said I would give up. I said, and I played devil's advocate during a stream, that we are moving in that direction, and that there are millions of times and millions of different reasons. I'm exaggerating on that part, but there are thousands of different reasons why streaming has destroyed Blu-ray and has destroyed DVDs the way it has, because the way we live our lives, this is inevitable. We like things to be convenient. We like it. We don't look. I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting there and been like, oh, I have that on my shelf. But I could get up, I could walk to the shelf, I could take the item off the shelf, I could walk over, I could open the Blu-ray player, I could put it in the Blu-ray player, I could switch my input to station 1, and I could watch Goodfellas. Or I could just push the middle button on my remote and watch Goodfellas right now. It's on the streaming service. But I have also argued at the same time that physical media, I did a video a long time ago, if it's a tradition, you need to respect it. I think that was the name of it. It's been a long time since I've done it, since I've done that video. That video, I specifically said, if all these people really cared that much about Charlie Brown Christmas when it was reported that they were not going to be playing it on TV that year, they would have owned it. If it is an honest family tradition that everybody sits down and watches Home Alone every year, don't take the chance that Home Alone will disappear from your life. Find a way to secure it if it's an actual tradition. If it's a family tradition that everybody gets together, that everybody watches it, then you need it physically. You need it because you need it to be there when you need it. I have made these arguments before many times, but I've also been very open and realistic about the fact that technology moves this way. I can't tell you the last time I bought a CD, and I listen to music easily 10 hours a day. Because the second I get up in the morning, I turn my phone on and it's music. And then I go into work and it's music. And then on my way home, it's music. I discover new things. I'm interested in new things. I listen to my old things. I even sit here sometimes on my own and just go through my playlist on YouTube and just listen to music for like 4 or 5 hours or whatever if I've had a bad day. But at the same time, I do remember what it was like to have CDs, but I don't have CDs anymore. And I haven't for a very long time, and it hasn't bothered me. So if I'm being completely honest, and I know how all this stuff goes, I could find myself in a position years from now where, I'm already finding myself in that position. I recently watched all the Bruce Lee movies back to back. I own all of them. I have them on Blu-ray. I didn't put a single one in. They were all on the streaming service. I just hit play. It was simpler. This is the way that these things are. And yeah, like VHS tapes, like he's saying right here, VHS tapes went the way of the dinosaur for a reason. And this is true. This is the way that we've watched entertainment go. You used to watch television. Now you don't. Now you stream what you want to see. We used to watch television, then we used to record television. Now we just pick the show we want to watch and we binge it. It's a different monster. This and music did the same thing. I used to have tapes, then I had CDs. Now I don't even worry about it. I just turn on Spotify or whatever else I happen to have at the time, or I just go on YouTube and find what I want to hear. No, I don't think I want. See, I don't want DVD music. That sounds like a huge hassle to me. That's what I'm saying, man. Like you're saying right here, I have records that sells DVDs and Blu-rays on music. Are you saying along with I can get Blu-rays. I have an entire wall of Blu-rays. I'm not giving up on physical media, but you guys have to understand that I'm a hardcore realist about the direction that we're going, and you can't stop it. We are moving in this direction. And video games are next. I'm sorry, but they have been for a very long time. Combo pack, and yeah, no, I can understand that. I used to like that myself, actually. That's where I got my first digital movies. They just kept coming with the Blu-rays, so I just kept keeping them. And then I would make trips like down to the Dells and whatnot. And instead of literally, I went from having to carry like an entire thing of Blu-rays, so at night we could like watch something on the computer, because I would take my laptop with me, and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I just have a collection of like 100 and something, like 100 plus movies that are just on my laptop. We'll just take the laptop and watch it. It's convenience. Convenience will determine how these things go. It doesn't matter how hardcore we are. It doesn't matter. Not everybody wants to do this, guys. Yeah, MP3 players is where it started for me. I used to take a Walkman with me on my run. Now that just seems stupid to me. Like, it seems seems legit stupid to me to do something like that. Why would I take the Walkman on the run with me when I could just take this little stick and put some earbuds in and uninterrupted music? I mean, the convenience of it is the reason that it's dying off. It's you might not like it, but it's happening, guys. I don't know how we keep ending up on this argument all the time. Like it happens all the time. I'm actually a little confused about it because we've had this argument time and time and time and time and time and time again, and it's almost ridiculous, in all honesty, that we're still talking about this this argument, because you can't stop it. Let's see. You will own nothing and like it. I don't like that mentally. I understand that. But at the same time, realistically, it's always been that way regardless. You can't always guarantee that even your CDs are going to survive. I lost hundreds of CDs. And the whole idea, I'll tell you this too, I lost thousands. I had a library of comics. Library. I wish I was understating this. I'm not. I had bookshelves in one of my houses. There was a hallway where I built a library. I had, if I remember right, my last count put my comic books at nearly 12,000 issues. I was literally building towards the point where I could have had my own store. I would buy anything. It didn't matter what it was. If it was a comic book, I would buy it. Just buy it. I wanted it. Because you never knew when I was going to discover something. And I would keep them. And I had an area of the shelves that were like for stuff that I hadn't read and stuff like that and yada yada. And it rained. A pipe blew in my house and I lost every one of those books. Had I had them digitally, I'd still have them today. I'd still have them today. There is good and bad to the digital idea. And also, I've been playing video games on the computer now for like years. I don't have any of my computer games physically. It hasn't been a thing since like even in the early 90s I started getting rid of a lot of my discs. Like I had Redneck Rampage, and that you put the disc in, downloaded it to your computer, and threw the disc away. And then it was just on there. You just double-clicked it and played it. I mean, so I've always expected consoles to move in this direction. It was unavoidable. Star Trek preps. I never called you stupid. Don't take offense. I'm just telling you that you can't. We are moving in this direction. Did I ever find the Sailor Moon set? We have almost all of it. Because my wife loves Sailor Moon. We have almost all of it. We're very close to having the entirety of it put together. But it takes a long time. Like, and when we find it, we have to have the money to get it. It's a real pain to do that. Like, it's a real pain because like I say all the time, you put $20 here, you can't put $20 here. And it's and then you're constantly on the back and forth as to whether or not you should spend here. Like he cost me almost $100. Him right there. He cost me like $100. That means I can't buy anything else with that $100. I mean, so I'm constantly on that kind of thing. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Birthday! It's awesome. No, I'm so confused by why you say that. You have to be under a strange idea. There is no reason I would hate on collectors of physical media. I have a physical library as tall as a 10-foot ceiling of DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm that guy. I'm still buying Blu-rays today. In fact, I have 6 of them coming in the mail right now. One of them being Empire with John Leguizamo, because that movie is amazing. It's amazing, and people should watch it. And then I'm also going to be buying because I never got to see it, the Masters of the Universe movie, the live action one. There's a Blu-ray set coming out that I want, so that's coming as well. And I also bought the last seasons of the Blu-ray, the release right before the most recent release of Dragon Ball Z, because I started watching that, surprisingly enough, with my mom. And we're up to season 4, but I only have up to season 5, so I ordered the rest of those that are coming in. So that'll finish off that, because I haven't bought that for a long time. And then it's just so good. It's like I'm constantly collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. So you got to be misunderstanding where my argument comes from. And here's the thing. I can tell you where the future's going, and I can see it, while also understanding the kind of person I am and not getting up in arms about the fact that we're moving in that direction. Like it's just the way that I am. It's I don't know. Leguizamo peaked with the pest, changed my mind. Leguizamo, that's the beginning of Leguizamo. I don't need to change your mind. If you truly haven't seen the dramatic ability that Leguizamo presents, then I don't need to change your mind. You do. And if you look at comedies, that's good and fine. Comedies are comedies, and there's no problem with that. But realistically, Leguizamo is an incredibly underappreciated actor. Underappreciated. I swear, by leaps and bounds, he's underappreciated. Also, this 3-pack, I won't buy that. It's not the collection. It's not the same collection. It's a different Blu-ray collection than the one that I am currently buying. It's hard to explain, but if you look up all the different versions, that Blu-ray version is a little different in different ways than the one that I have. And I don't want to mix them. I want to like see the qualities change or whatever. It's hard to explain, but I looked it up myself before, because I was about to buy those 3-packs to try to finish it off when I realized it was a different collection. Just like the orange box is different than the black box and whatnot. Let's see here. Havoc Sorceress, Goddess Tila. I wonder if I don't know. It's not that they couldn't do that, but I think because the skin tones Havoc and Serpent Tila, Goddess Tila, I think they have to be their own separate things, because the skin tones are too different. So, like, I just don't think they can do that. Like, if they did, I feel like they'd do a disservice to just like give us the armor. I feel like I personally don't want that. I'm willing to buy multiple Tilas, but I guess she's like one of my favorite characters ever. So like, I guess that's different for me than maybe some other people, but yeah. I liked him in Spawn, but his dramatic range is fantastic. I'm telling you, movies like Empire pivoted him to he is one of the most underappreciated actors I have ever seen. Leguizamo is fantastic. Yes, we are still waiting on the first appearance Evelyn, or a classic Evelyn in general. We're missing both of those in terms of Masterverse, and that's the line that I'm focusing on the most. I just think Masterverse is so good, so good. I love Masterverse. I love the Masterverse toys, man. I can't get enough of them. Oh no, you're fine. It's not rude. My birthday will be on the 30th. I took work off for it and everything. So I've been recording today. That's the reason my tripod is on the chair over here. That's because I was recording. I unboxed a couple of things. Like I got some Nintendo stuff to add to my shelf, and I got 2 Sonic figures. Neither one of them were great. I'll be having videos come out for that soon, and a couple of other things too. But like I've just that's, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing. My wife is currently doing a second job so she can save up. We got to get a new car, but you know, she needs. I have, it's her car went bad. That's what I'll say. It sadly her car is gone. And so she's doing a second job to kind of save money. And so that's put like an awful lot of strange levels of free time that I wasn't expecting in my hands. And so, yeah, like especially with me on vacation and all that, it's going to be cool to actually do, it's going to be cool to like kind of get ahead of the game. Like I got a whole bunch of unboxings. I may unbox 6 or 7 figures tomorrow and get all the videos done. And I went ahead and I bought those. Those are battery packs for my camera. So instead of losing my camera, I can just reach the red part of the battery and flip it out now. It's because I've been having that problem for a while where I'll get ahead of the game and I have the free time. I start doing the videos and then all of a sudden, oh crap, my camera's dead. I have to wait. That was getting really old, so I bought a 4-set battery pack recharger. I don't know that I would buy that. I loved the Conan the Barbarian movies. I like both of them, in all honesty. I have yet to see the new one that was done with Jason Momoa, but I don't know. I'm hard pressed to know whether or not it would make a difference. I have the Blu-rays. Will the 4K actually make a difference? Because in some cases it does, and the remaster is done very well. And in some cases, they just kind of port it to a 4K, and it doesn't really matter. You have to have the right movie, and it has to be under a studio that will go through the trouble to waste the money to actually do proper upscaling and whatnot. A lot of them just kind of toss it onto the disc with an AI upscale and they sell it. And you can tell the difference between one that's been like highly remastered, where you watch it and you're like, it looks like they filmed this crap today, as opposed to ones that don't get that treatment. First appearance Orko. Yeah, because we get the time skip Orko so far, but we haven't had a first appearance Orko. You're right. Yeah, because we got the time skip Orko where he's like sick and dying. Dude, I bought that Orko the White. I love Orko the White, man. I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and I like him as the character, and I liked that toy very much so. I thought that was very well done. So you're saying Arrow Video usually doesn't cheap out and they actually do their job? Because I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've bought it on 4K, not that, but other movies, and been like, oh wow, I just wasted my money. Like, because it's the exact same thing that I already have on Blu-ray. That's happened to me a lot. Like, a lot. Enough that it's caught my attention to kind of make me stop jumping directly to 4K. And also, sometimes I've jumped to 4K and lost scenes because they'll fix something or something becomes lost, or there'll be some sort of weird thing about like version inversion, and I'll get it on the 4K or whatever, and it won't be the version that I had on the DVD, and because that's its own conundrum all in its own right too. So I don't know. Right now I'm happy with the Blu-ray of Conan. So I don't know that I'm jumping for joy to spend a whole bunch of money to upgrade that to 4K. I don't know. Probably not right now, but I don't know. I have Enter the Dragon. I have it on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. And I didn't get rid of it because the Blu-rays, and I haven't really sat down and done a complete comparison, but the Blu-rays have the unaltered scenes. So like I'm talking about the entire collection of movies right now, not just Enter the Dragon, but when you watch it on Blu-ray, like The Big Boss and things of that nature, Fists of Fury, Way of the Dragon, these movies have extra scenes that were taken out. Minor things, but enough that you notice them. And it's really cool for somebody like me that's watched these movies so many times to all of a sudden see something and go, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I know these 2 minutes weren't here before. Like, that's really neat. And that was the Blu-ray sets that were released, the single movie sets or whatever for Blu-rays. They had the entire uncut film, and it's kind of wild to see it because it's not much, but it's enough that if you watched it as many times as I have, all of a sudden there's like an extra 2 minutes in like a weird random part because they're using all the scenes. I think it's the Mandarin version of the movie had a couple of extra scenes, and those are now in there, and it jars you for a second. If you're like me and you've already seen these movies so many times, all of a sudden there's an extra thing that wasn't there before, and you're like, oh crap, wait a minute. I love that. I love to be surprised like that. I don't love to be surprised like that when I grew up watching the director's cut of I grew up watching the director's cut of Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, and I didn't know that, and I replaced my DVD with a Blu-ray that just happened to be the regular version. The theatrical cut was the only thing on there. And all of a sudden there were characters missing and scenes missing and like dialogue that was altered, and it really messed me up. It kind of made me like almost hate the movie for a while, and I had to go hunt the DVD back down. And then years later they released the Blu-ray that actually had all the scenes and everything on there again, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then I bought that Blu-ray. So now it's weird because I have like a set of movies, which is like a pack that has all of them. And then I have part 2 sitting next to that because that part 2 has scenes that part 2 doesn't have. That kind of drives me crazy. I'm very much the kind of person that would prefer that there just be like just release one Blu-ray and give me the different versions on the movie, and I can pick them when I turn on the Blu-ray. Oh, I want to watch this version, this version, this version. And I know why they do it. Because they know that I'll do it. It's no more complicated than that. They know that I'll buy the thing again. So they're like, oh, let's take away 10 minutes or whatever. And then later on we'll call it a director's cut. That kind of crap is it's normal. It's normal in movies in general. Let's get this started. We just did a whole lot of talking, which is not a bad thing, but like we did a whole lot of talking. We are going to, oh my, I just got a black screen for some reason. Why do I just have a black screen? Let me figure that out real quick, because that shouldn't have happened, what just happened there. Oh, it's because for some reason my window capture was disabled. I don't remember turning that off. I must have clicked it by accident or something like that, because that was weird. But now that that's fixed, let's go over here and see what we can find. Okay, so I'm going to leave the chat here for a minute. I'll check back in periodically as we do things. The first thing that I want to check out is I want to go here. I want to check out these daily deals because you never know what's going to be going on there. Imports and statues, not doing that today, not feeling it. This is kind of cool, but I haven't been buying into the NECA things. There's a bunch of clearance sales in general just to see, oh my gosh, the Santa Clauses, those are so cool. I wouldn't buy them on a personal level, but it doesn't stop me from seeing that those are so ridiculously cool. epic hacks. I've been checking these out now ever since I saw the Red Sonja and whatnot that caught my attention. I think that's them, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, it was them. Yeah, and so now it's caught my attention that I'm kind of looking through the skeleton guys and whatnot. But I heard that her scale is going to be different than a lot of the ones that they're used to releasing. So I'll have to keep my eyes open, see how it turns out in general. Ultimates we got here. The Thing. That's crazy. Bride of Chucky. Action Force. This is one of those things I always say that I'm going to get into it, but I never do. But like I said, you got to be careful where you spend your money. You spend it here, you can't spend it there. I mean, it's very real. Okay, so I got the two main things that I want to check out here, and then we're gonna see how that goes. Actually, let's see. Oh, I didn't know that. Let me load that up real quick. I did not know that they did I mean, I saw the White Ranger one that had something like that, but I didn't see that they did I didn't see that they'd done a Gold Ranger with all clothes and everything like that. But I don't know. That's a rough thing for me to get into. Because once you start getting into like bigger figures, they're big, they cost a lot more money, and they take more maintenance than people tend to realize if you're not careful, especially because like with a plastic, like he's plastic. It's not a big deal. Whatever happens with him, and I can easily dust him off and things like that. I have figures on the stuff there that when I go through and I rearrange and I have to clean, it's a much bigger deal to deal with things that have cloth and parts and things of that nature, and they're bigger. It's a bigger thing than it is than stuff there. Starships there, huh? Is that that's something you want to see? Well, let's do that. Let's start there. Oh my. This is not what I was thinking. So we just clicked on Master Replicas group. Doctor Who. I'm not really a Doctor Who guy. It's not my thing. Some of these ships are pretty cool. Like they have the official Orville and whatnot. I never got to finish that. I watched some of it. Stargate. It's pretty cool. There's some cool stuff here. I don't know that I'm freaking out about it necessarily though. Maybe I'm just not feeling ships right now though too, because like I do like the Orville and I have ships on my shelf. And some of them are in this scale too, so this actually wouldn't be a bad thing for me. But for some reason, it's not clicking. I don't think it's not sitting with me right now. So like, yeah. Did you just say 9K? What costs 9K? You must be talking about something else. K9. Oh, K9. 9K. I thought you... For some reason, I thought you... Look, we've done this window shopping before and came across like $1,300 statues and things like that. One time I found like a $7,000 statue that we were looking at one night. So that's what I thought was going on for a second. Let's see. This is a clearance sale. So we got Pokemon statue, which he actually looks pretty cool. I bet you he's pretty expensive. I don't think I'd buy him regardless, but we're still gonna look at him. There's an under 10. There's a we'll see. Hold on. That's awesome. That's Griffith, isn't it? That's Griffith after he went through the change and whatnot. Ooh, there's prices of all kinds hanging out in here. This is a clearance sale? Oh, that's cool. How many of the Storm collectibles are they doing? Is it just the dead pack? Because like Storm collectibles is rough. If you can get a deal on Storm collectibles, that's usually good. Ouch. Yeah, that's 20%. 20% off. He's still $183. This is what I'm talking about. When I say you put your money in one place, you can't put it in another, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. I have this, and I have Gilius. I don't have this. He's the only one I don't have, but he's $200. She was tough for me to put the money down. Like I had to convince myself that it was coming with two things, and that it was something that I specifically wanted, and that if I was ever going to do just one Storm collectible, and I was going to put a golden axe on the shelf, it needed to be the character that I specifically played with. So I picked this, and it was fine. Like, I really did enjoy it. I liked it a lot, but ouch, like, ouch. That took real money off of me when I did that one. Mothership myself. I don't have a lot of that. So with Eagle Moss, let me highlight you real quick. So with Eagle Moss, I bought one ship ever. I bought the NX-01. That was the only one that I ever bought, and I gave that one to my dad. Because I got a different one on my shelf. He didn't have an NX-01. Like the holidays are already over. I'm not sure. What are you talking about? Like recent holiday sales? I mean, I do get I was in here for the holidays doing one of these, actually. Ooh, look at him. Look at him. He's an $804 Mewtwo. Let's look at him. Look at that. That is really cool. This is what window shopping is right here. We look at this guy, because there's no way. Maybe you guys are different. I don't know what kind of money you guys are sitting on, but there's no way I could do that. $804, 30% off. He was originally $11.50. Like, he cost them pennies, man. He cost them real pennies. You gotta be a real fan if you're gonna dive into this. Crazy. Okay. Under 10. This is going to be stuff they're just trying to throw away. Well, some of it's Motu. That's pretty cool. Buzz off. See, I'm kind of stepping away from Origins. Only the Origins that really, really catch my attention at this point. Otherwise, I'm really trying to stay away right now. I just got him not too long ago. Not a bad Obi-Wan here. We've got her already. We've got her, the Bandai Spirits one. She's on the shelf downstairs. In fact, we're hoping to finish this line. That way we kind of have an entire set, like all of them standing together. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Now I know that I'm in the cheap stuff here, though. I just wanted to see if they had anything like if I clicked in here and there was a $10 thing that just made me be like, oh, what? You never know. You really don't. You don't know. You don't know until you check. There's a Grey Hulk, classic Grey Hulk. Those retro figures are coming back like crazy. I notice people are buying those retro figures, or at least they must be selling, because they sure are. Like, there's a whole new wave of this stuff that's happening now from multiple companies, like this right here, the U.S. Agent. They made him it's not for me. I don't think that I would go back in time like that, but some people are really into that. Those retro 5-point articulation figures, and I guess I have a couple of them, but I bought them for very specific reasons. I've bought a couple of the Superpower figures, but it really comes down to me, like, that was what I grew up with specifically, so it caught my attention to kind of, it was a nostalgia buy. I mean, that's what it was. It was a nostalgia buy when I bought it, and I don't know when the next time I would do something like that is. These minifigures are about ridiculous. They're so neat, but like, wow. Keep scrolling down here, see if we come across anything. I think I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me and makes me be like, oh my God. I don't do pops. It's not a thing. I don't like them. I particularly view them as a waste of my money because they take up a spot where something else could go. And that back there is prime Manhattan real estate. Like at this point, I don't like knickknacks and tiny things that just take space and have no actual value to me in terms of like what I like. It has to speak to me. Everything that goes on that shelf has to have a reason for being there or it doesn't belong there. And that's where I am at this point. I've seen these at Target a couple times. These figures. I'm not really a Naruto person, so it doesn't really do anything for me. Let's keep looking. I think we're probably gonna increase the... That's pretty cool. I don't do the dinosaurs thing though. The dinosaurs is not a me thing. My little kid though, my kid likes the dinosaur things, but I'm not really into them. So. That's kind of neat. I can't remember the last time I bought something like extreme Disney. Like I can't remember. I really cannot remember the last time that happened. Oh my gosh. Like there's so much stuff, but you got to figure, I'll bet you this warehouse is huge. We're going to abandon the tins. We're going to check and see what they're trying to dip off at 20 or whatever that makes sense. Like, see, we're moving into things like classified and whatnot that's actually coming down in value here. And that probably makes a little more sense when it comes to me in general. Let's see, going back to the chat here. Really? Why is that? Why do you say, you think Oz is pulling me into his stream tonight? What gives you that idea? I have been on there a couple of times. I enjoy my time on there when I get in there. I mean, it's a big room, though. It's like 10 people, and they're all talking and everything, and sometimes it's tough to kind of get in edgewise, and I also have no intention of, like, trying to take over or whatever, so I have to be careful how I go in there, because our show is very, very, very different from like, his show. Our show is very different. On the female figures, they fall down. I haven't had the guys fall down. They usually have the big giant heads, or sorry, the big giant feet to go along with the big heads. So that hasn't been an issue. And a lot of the girls now come with that stand and whatnot. I'm not trying to defend them, but I haven't had a problem with them falling down. We have some, and they don't fall over for us. And he doesn't even take them out of the box. But yeah, I got a couple of them that came with stands, so that never became an issue for me at all. Oops, it moved. Ooh, I don't know. If he asks me, I would be interested. But yeah, I think people. I'm noticing a lot of people are trying to like go one episode at a time and talk about it. I absolutely. I loved it though. That show was so good. I don't even care. May you ask why I don't like Transformers? We might be able to answer that very simply. It was already over. Look, just like the He-Man thing, it was already over. By the time I got in, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing for me. Transformers had already ran its course. The people that were into it were already into it. Like, it doesn't sound like it. But where I was when I was growing up, and I don't know how old you are, Jake, so just to put that out there, I don't know. But it doesn't change the idea. The reason I didn't watch He-Man was because I'm 40 years old. And you would think that put me in the prime era to watch it, but it didn't. Because by the time I was 5, it was already off the air. Out of sight, out of mind is very real. By the time I was old enough to care, it was Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe. Those were the cartoons. So just missing 4 years, had I been born 4 years earlier, I would be in a spot where I would have liked all this stuff from a way younger age. And the only reason I like this stuff at all is because I got into the comic book side of like barbarian stuff and then started reading the books and whatnot. And then that kind of drove into my older life into things like Motu. I discovered Motu as an adult, as like a big adult. Hey, what's up, man? We got Liquid back in here. That's you with Star Trek. I don't know. I don't understand that reference. Because Star Trek, I mean, I guess there was a point in time when it went away. But, like, Star Trek almost never went away. I mean, there was the original series, which I imagine that was already done. There was the Next Generation. The Next Generation led to Voyager, and I mean, you know, Deep Space Nine, and then Deep Space Nine led to Voyager, and then Voyager led to Enterprise, and then Enterprise leads us into, like, oh, there's all the stuff that's happening right now. Strange New Worlds is so good. It is so good. It is some of the best Star Trek in the history of Star Trek. But I noticed that, like, a lot of, and some people they think that it's too slow. I don't know, but Star Trek was on when you were a kid. It's never not been on. So it was different. He-Man, Transformers was not on television in my area on any channel. I saw my first Transformers episode on Cartoon Network at I don't even know if it was Cartoon Network. I think it was like the beginnings of Cartoon Network, like when it was very first coming onto television for like cable packs and whatnot. And I think I seen it as late as like 10 o'clock at night or something like that. It was late. And I saw an episode, like one episode of it, and I was already old enough to be like, really? Like, this is what everybody's on about? But at the same time, that could have been my area too. It just was not on TV for me. It was on TV, however, for my buddy, because my buddy Spencer, he loves it. He thinks it's absolutely amazing. He's really, really into it, and he knows all about it, and he has the toys and everything like that. But like, that's not a me thing, and it never was a me thing. I remember Beast Wars. I had a couple of the toys, and I saw some of it, because that's the only thing I remember of it. But I also remember that by the time it came on, I'd already missed it. I used to get off school and like run home, and by the time I got home, it was over. I would catch like the tail end of it, like the last like 6 minutes of an episode or whatever, because whatever my cable package was or whatever, I don't know, maybe it's something like that. I remember only by the time I would get home, it was basically over. And like sometimes on the weekends or whatnot, I would come across it, but like at that point there was other things that I was interested in doing. So it was not something I got into. And then of course now we're at a stage where I don't see any reason to get into it. I like Gundam, but that doesn't mean I like Transformers. Like, it doesn't speak to me the same way. I've considered this. Skip Leg Day He-Man and Skip Leg Day Skeletor. I've considered them a couple of times just because they're in the Masterverse line, but I gotta be careful about that kind of thinking. I need to get things that make sense, things that speak to me, things that take actual space on the shelf and make legit sense. I got him. I put him on the shelf. This is pretty cool, this Hush Pack, but I'm real particular about this DC wave. There's a lot of it that I don't like, in all honesty. Like a lot of it. And I talked about that too in a recent video where I was talking about the price change, and I talked about what these figures, because these are $20 figures. as far as I'm concerned, and they've never justified a price variant higher than that. As far as I'm concerned, they have never justified raising their prices beyond $20. And most of the Motu that I'm seeing here, I either have or I don't need. I have him. We opened him. I got him for cheaper than that. I'm almost 100% sure I got him for cheaper than that. That's about right. That's what I bought mine at. My Superman. Which we opened all those in the last stream. And then we built Atrocitus over the course of the night while we were hanging out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Like, this would take some real time to go through. And you'd have to go through it piece by piece. That's good. That one right there, I have that one on my shelf. She comes with a battle stand and a whole bunch of cool features and everything. She looks really good. That's a good one. That's a good figure. Skeleton Man. I bought her. I got mine for cheaper than that. I got mine for $14. Not much of a sale or a deal, I guess, but I did get mine cheaper. So that is actually pretty cool. Let's see. Boomerang had the original 80s run, Fox Kids in the late 90s. I was watching him, Beast Wars. Able to watch him also. Beast Wars I care about. Yeah, I remember catching part of Beast Wars, but only at the end. Let's see. Cable package. I missed New Adventures of Batman. Didn't have Kids WB. Yeah, exactly. And back then, it wasn't the same as it is today. You can just watch whatever you want and get into whatever you want. It's really easy. Oh, all right, man. Later on, sorry. Oh, it's time to work. Yeah, that's what I figured. Time to work. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, I bought this Mystique because I personally like this a lot. I always thought that this was a good design. I know there's been people that have like complained about it. Oh man, she doesn't wear clothes. Or please get off it. Like, I have 2 videos specifically talking about her powers and how they would work, and that's cool. I don't have Spycore yet in the Masterverse line. He was one that I missed out on because by the time I jumped in, he was kind of off shelves, and I hadn't really got into to internet shopping yet. I used to avoid internet shopping like crazy. I did not like it. But he's cool. I don't have this Beastman yet. I have the better Beastman, but that's an argument all in its own, because I notice people do this. They're like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't like that Beastman, blah blah blah, this and that. Or like they'll buy it and then they'll be like, this is not the Beastman that I grew up with. Well, I mean, he's not supposed to be. That's Revelation time skip Beastman. It speaks to me, but I don't have any nostalgia in this. Like, yeah, I don't have the nostalgia other people have. That's fine with me. I have no problem with time skip Beastman, and I would gladly put him on the shelf next to the other Beastman with no problem whatsoever. I know what he is. That's just like these people. I've seen people that are like buying it. This never ceases to confuse me, but they'll buy something from like the cartoon line, and then they'll be like, oh, I saw a review not way too long ago. Somebody was talking about the He-Man from the cartoon line, and they were like, what's with his face? My toy, like the toy never looked like that. That's not the toy. You're not buying a redesign of the toy. Or like the Gambit. Oh my gosh, so many people bought that Gambit from X-Men 97 and then complained, well, I don't understand. Like the last Gambit was way better. This Gambit, he looks like a cartoon. You bought the 97 Gambit from X-Men 97. You know, the cartoon Gambit. What did you think he was gonna be when you bought him? Like, that never ceases to confuse me that people do that they buy the figure and then complain that he's not what they wanted him to be, but they bought the figure that was specifically meant to be this other thing. Like, what did you think you were buying? If you buy Rogue from X-Men 97 and she happens to look like a cartoon, maybe if you don't like the cartoon look, don't buy the cartoon figure because it doesn't make any sense. Like it just blows my mind. That's like if I came in here right now and I was like, oh man, I love Batgirl, and then I buy this right here, and then when she gets here, I open her up and I'm like, oh, my Batgirl never looked like this. I don't understand. I would have preferred if she would have had all black and then this yellow. That's not the one you bought. This is the one you bought. You bought the Gotham Knights Batgirl specifically. That's why she looks the way she does. If you didn't like it, why would you buy that specific variant? Like, and then complain that that variant is not the one that you grew up with, or not the one you remember from the cartoon show or whatever. That's not the one you bought. Like, it blows my mind. I see it all the time and it does not make sense to me. Like, what did you think you were buying? And I've seen it a lot. A lot of Motu collectors are famous for this. And it drives me crazy, but Motu collectors will buy something, and that something will say Revelation on the front because it's based on the Revelation series. It is a Revelation figure. And then they will go, well, this doesn't look like the Beast Man. When I was growing up, my guy looked way different, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not what that's meant to be. You can't be mad at it for being exactly what it's supposed to be. Don't buy it. It's like, buy this Joker right here and then be like, oh, it doesn't look anything like the Mark Hamill Joker. I don't understand. It's because that's not who he is. Like I just don't get it. I just do not get it. And I never will. I'll never understand why people do that. Like, I never understand it. Let's see here. Let's check. We've done some of these. Let's go check the this is the daily deals. So they're looking to get rid of some classified Cobra soldiers here. The Cobra officers. Simpsons. Oh, look at you. I do still need a Jason. Like, legit, I have a Freddy. I don't have a Jason. He's more the Jason that I like, too. He's actually the... I tend to like the more supernatural zombie-esque Jason. I mean, since he's surviving everything anyway, then I don't see any reason that he shouldn't just be a supernatural creature. And then you don't have to worry about explaining why he can survive the things he can survive, because he's a monster. Like, he's a monster. He can just do things because he's a monster, and we get over it. And I do have a Freddy, but I don't have one of him. I also don't have a Myers yet. I don't have a Michael Myers that I'm happy with. Yeah, I think when it comes right down to it, nothing has jumped out at me and made me be like, oh my God. And so I think that what I'm going to do is, I think more than likely I'll get into the I think I'll buy the first part to that set. I think that's what makes sense for me right now, is to buy the set. That's I've been thinking about that for a while. I want to get the Super Skrull set, but I gotta start somewhere. The hardest one to get your hands on is Doom. He's the most expensive one. Once I have Doom, it'll all be cheaper and go down from there. Each one's still ranging. Like Mr. Fantastic can still go for like $60 sometimes, and then a couple of them go for like 34 and whatnot. It's an expensive line. I should have jumped on it, but I have this real bad habit with the Fantastic Four. It's a bad habit. I want it to be perfect. I like the Fantastic Four. I like them a lot. Like, to me, the Fantastic Four are still, even today, the best superhero team ever made. Because of what they are. They're a drama and a family first and superheroes second. They changed the comic book landscape when they came out. It was a big deal, like more so than I think. If you're the kind of person, if you go and you buy those like showcase books and whatnot, and you read like original Superman and things of that nature, they were just like having adventures. And they didn't feel like real people. They felt like superheroes. And there's a lot of this in old comic books. And then of course you get things like the Justice League and whatnot. But the Justice League and Justice Society, they're like just going on adventures. I mean, there's not a whole lot of character development aside from like minor inserts. They're just doing superhero stuff, having adventures. Then the Fantastic Four come along. And to say that superhero comics need to take notes from the Fantastic Four again to backtrack to what they used to be is an understatement. The Fantastic Four spend multiple issues building their powers, the characters, the reputation before they ever don the costume. They're not in costume in book 1 or book 2 or I think even book 3. I think they don't even don their costumes till book 4 because they took their time. And they developed the fact that this is a family first. And when I put it on the shelf, I wanted it to be a perfect squad of figures. And that was a mistake. Because I was never going to get that. I ended up liking everything in that set except the Invisible Woman's face. And so I passed on it for a very long time. Then I got the other one. And I said, oh, I like that, but I don't like the fact that there's not a version of Johnny that's transformed. So I skipped on that one. Then I saw another set, and I was like, oh, I like this, but I don't like this part. And I'm like sitting there waiting for them to release this perfect set. And I don't know when that's ever going to happen or if it will ever happen. So finally, these go on sale. These ones up there, and I did the entire video talking about it because that's on the channel too if you give a crap at all. And I went on and I was like, this is I'm gonna do it. It's on sale. It makes sense right now. I'm gonna buy it. I bought them and put on. And when I opened them, I got over the Invisible Woman pretty quick because the Fantastic Four, to me, even still today, they were allowed to evolve. Like, there's so many of these characters that are not allowed to evolve. They're stuck in limbo as the character that they are forever. Every time Spider-Man makes progress, they revert him. They kill his girlfriend, take away his wife. I know we're all bitter about that. Then they give her back. Then they take her away. Then they have him date again. Then he's rich. Then he's kind of got his life figured out for the most part. But then they're like, oh, well, we can't have him with his life figured out. You know what? Have this thing happen, and now he's back surfing couches again. And he never gets a chance to grow up, ever. He never gets to evolve and have real and move because they're always trying to bring him back to the status quo. He's one of those kinds of characters where a lot of the times with like the Fantastic Four, that did not happen. That did not happen. They were a family. They have fights. They get along. They break up. They have team problems. They have affairs. I mean, like the wife situation. Okay, we all know Namor, things of that nature. But what I'm saying is that they move past these events, not to reset the status quo, but to move past these events. They had kids. The kids grew up. They built the Future Foundation. These are all things that happen inside that don't reset the status quo. They move the characters forward. Like they're a family first, a drama first, a character study first, and a superhero comic second. And that's the reason they have always had my attention. And that's the reason I think Marvel and things like Fox and whatnot had so much trouble bringing them in and doing movies with them. Because it's really hard to do a movie like that. It's very hard to do a movie like that because you have to be 100% character driven more than, oh, something really cool just happened over here. That's hard to do. So today, since I looked through some stuff, we've been doing a lot of talking and whatnot, I should open something. Get an unboxing here. I have a couple of items. I have Mousejaw, so that's a possibility. I have a bunch of figures from Motu that still haven't been opened. In fact, I have Cartoon Skeletor. He hasn't been opened. I'm fighting with myself. I want to open something. I have him, but I feel like he should be a video. But then again, I don't know. Because I do kind of just want to open him. No. No, they did not. No, they did not. People, I don't know why everybody does this. The Incredibles are not the Fantastic Four. That is a rudimentary, low-level understanding of the Fantastic Four. It is not the same exact dynamic. It is not. I see that all the time where people go, like I even seen that on a video on YouTube not too long ago where they're like, I don't understand why they can't do a Fantastic Four movie. They prove that they can do it. Incredibles. And when you watch The Incredibles, it's close. It's a parody, but it is not. It is absolutely not the Fantastic Four. Like I wish I could give exact meaning behind where my head goes, but I see that all the time. I mean, I see it all the time. People are like, oh, that's just a Fantastic Four movie. It's really not. It's really not. But it's really hard for me to explain why it's not. You just, if you've never put yourself in and read Fantastic Four books, it's really hard to explain. Because they are a family first, a drama piece, a character-driven narrative that happen to do superhero things. They live in the spotlight. They never played the secret identity thing. They're not superheroes in the same way that other teams are superheroes. When all this happened to them, they didn't play the superhero game. They kind of got drug into it. And yes, now they are quote-unquote superheroes, but it's not in the same way that other characters are. They don't wear masks because they're not trying to hide who they are. This just happens to be circumstances that have affected their personal lives. Ben Grimm is the Thing, not because he chooses to be necessarily, but because that's what happened to him. And he has to live his life, and people know him as Ben Grimm. People know Peter Parker as Spider-Man. They know Steve Rogers, even though his identity is revealed because World War II gave his identity away. He's a historical figure. And Tony, he has his identity out there because he loves publicity. It's not the same thing. They didn't go seeking it. This happened to them. It's a very different concept when you read their books as opposed... In fact, the best way I could put it to you is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, strangely enough, follows a lot of the same format. They didn't go looking for trouble. It's a very different kind of idea. They didn't go looking for trouble. Trouble found them. They're not superheroes. They're living their life. And this happens to be where their life is at this current point in time. And they get drug into ridiculous scenarios while they are living their life. In the best way I can explain it is the Fantastic Four is a slice of life comic book that happens to be that their slice of life is that they live in the Marvel Universe, and if you have powers, you're a hero. You don't even really get a chance. And yes, I 100% understand that we are completely... Yes, I've been tired of driving in Silent Hill for the last week now. It's absolutely ridiculous how much fog we have in our area. Yeah, they're a slice of life. They're like a slice of life manga, but they take place in the Marvel universe, and every week there's like a universe ending situation, or a mole man that came out of the ground, or a dinosaur that's running through the park, or some other ridiculous scenario. And that's the only reason they're actually quote unquote superheroes. And I mean, Reed is a civilian scientist. He's a scientist. He's a dude. He's a dude with a job. Yes, it's true that because of all the situations and everything, they're very famous and they're considered to be superheroes, but it's also very misunderstood, which you can see if you've ever read Spider-Man. In the very early issues, he goes to meet the Fantastic Four because he thinks that's their job. He thinks they're getting paid to be superheroes, just like everybody else. The people outside that are looking in that don't actually read Fantastic Four comics, that don't know, think they're superheroes. It's not the way that works for them. It just so happens Ben Grimm lives on Yancey Street. He's going to cookouts and crap. Like, but at the same time, he lives in the Marvel universe where he may have to punch out a dinosaur. Like, because. Or a guy is made of bees because of reasons. Or it just so happens that the girl that he got with, the woman that he married, his wife, her father just happens to be a literal supervillain. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, but when you live in the Marvel universe and there are bad guys and super things everywhere and calamities and like world-ending events and city catastrophes that happen almost on a weekly basis, that's what your life is going to look like. So Spider-Man goes there and he's like, hey, I'm really cool too. Like, I'm super powered and this and that. I want a job. I want to be a superhero like you. And they have to tell him, we are not superheroes. I don't know why, like we're not superheroes. We don't get paid for this. I'm a scientist. This is my wife. This is my best friend. Like, I'm just like, they had to explain it to him. They were like, look, kid, that's not what we're doing here. And then even after he like literally fought them because he thought that he was being like rejected or whatever, and he literally gets into a big I'm a teenage boy fist fight over I didn't get what I wanted basically. He then leaves the situation and the Fantastic Four talk amongst themselves and they're like, you think that boy's going to be okay? Because like he literally came in here and just like threw down with us. And Ben is even the one that says, I hope he gets his crap under control because he's the kind of power that could be dangerous. But they don't go pursue him. They don't make a big deal about it. That's his life. They're not heroes. They're not out there. It's not the same idea. Later on, they kind of play up the hero angle a little more. But even later on, in that aspect, when he starts things like the Future Foundation, he doesn't start that because he wants to get a bunch of superheroes. The Future Foundation was specifically created because Mr. Fantastic was he was against the way that the scientific community handled themselves. The leaders of the current scientific community don't mend well with Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards was against them in general and built the Future Foundation as a way to say, there's a future here. They're not going to make it. I've seen that they're not going to make it. We have to. And that's why you got all the kids and everything, and they started teaching them. And like it's a very different concept. And that's around the time that they actually brought Spider-Man into the Fantastic Four directly and gave him the white suit and everything. And that was the Future Foundation Spider-Man for a while. That's why he was there, because he was a scientific mind. Reed knew that. It's just, The Incredibles is a superhero show. The Fantastic Four is not the same thing at the absolute core of what they are. They're the Ninja Turtles. They're a family that just kind of got roped into this life because they live in a supernatural, ridiculous universe. And so that's another thing too. The Fox movies don't do a bad job of getting the four right. They just didn't get the other parts right. You see a lot of things like Johnny and Ben, they go out drinking and they play darts and they do, like, they are playing a slice of life movie in those two movies, and then supernatural things happen around them, but they jumped the gun a little too fast trying to get to like the big parts, where it would have made more sense that whatever their superpowers were, maybe their rocket could have crashed or whatever in the first movie. I know they don't go up, they go on the space station, yada yada. But it would have made more sense to have part of the space station fall to Earth or whatever and wake up the Mole Man and have that be the actual event that they have to deal with, because while they're trying to figure out their life, stuff happened. Like, it would have made more sense to play off something like that than to try to jump straight to Victor Von Doom. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you know that these things are built in a very specific way, and you know that that very specific way, they want to make that money. I mean, they do. They want to make that money. And where's the money? The money is in the recognizable characters, and there's no villain more recognizable or more respected, I would say, than Victor Von Doom. He's like the villain, the quintessential, most recognizable villain of the entire Marvel universe. I would argue. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would argue that he is. Like I said, I could be wrong about that, but I can't think of anybody that I would put in a state higher than him in terms of he's everybody's antagonist. Like, he's the bad guy. But he strikes an interesting balance sometimes, because he strikes an interesting balance because of who he is at his core. Like, he is almost Reed Richards if Reed Richards didn't have the backing of his family and his ego was allowed to run unchecked. That's very much probably what could have happened. And Victor also studies into different levels of things. Like, he's also into he's into the magic part of things. So he can also shake it up with, Doctor Strange and things like that. He's a hard character to get right without putting real time into him. And that's what I think you have to set him up. I think it would make more sense. And I've heard rumor that that's what we're about to do, is that Victor will be introduced but not be the villain. I think I'm hearing, and this is all rumors right now, but I'm hearing that they may be playing with this concept that he will be the overarching problem. Kind of like how Thanos was the thing we were building up to. I'm hearing that we will be building up to Doom. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense than trying to just jump straight to Doom. You can't jump straight to Doom. He's too important and he's too complicated. What do we got sitting over here? Whoa. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I want to unbox something, but I don't know what, because I've also got this bad mentality where I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, but all my unboxings are videos, and then I need the videos because I need to keep things posting. But then at the same time, do I really care? Because I wish I had something that was like set to the side that I knew wouldn't really matter, and I didn't necessarily need a full interaction video about it. That's something to think about too. Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea ever to do a couple of these live streams and build the Gunpla. Because that would take real time, and I could build the Gunpla, and then I could talk, and then I could show the progression of it as we did it. That might make some interesting stuff later on. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot more than that. There's an entire shelf from like here all the way across the wall, the ceiling, that still hasn't been unboxed, Motu-wise. Like a lot of stuff. Well, I'm at an hour and a half. I'm trying to do 2-hour streams, so I got to open something. So I'm going to grab something. I'm going to grab something over there. Okay. There. Some of them are empty boxes for art. A lot of them still have characters in them because I was very much keeping to the standard that I wouldn't open them unless I had an episode to specifically open them. But then I didn't expect that the channel would take off, and the channel actually started taking off and started growing. And then when it started growing, I started getting all the unboxings, and then the live streams started, and I wasn't expecting the live streams. And then now this is where we are, is we actually have the live streams and everything going. So I bought Moss Man a long time ago. Let's finally open Moss Man, because he's been sitting here forever. For frackin' ever. Where's... Whoop. Okay. Oh. He's packed different. He's just got like an over thing. I prefer this kind of packaging, in all honesty, where I can just pull the top off, then the figure is in there, and I can just take the figure out. So I've got crazy hand. That is a crazy hand. Look at that. That's wild. That's really cool. There's a lot of detail here, too. And then I've got Moss Man Tickle Hands. Gucci Goo. And then I've got these hands. They're not tickle hands. They're just hands. They're cool though. Yeah, I'm an opener. Don't care. Absolutely don't care. I don't. And everybody collects differently, and everybody collects for different reasons. But I on a personal note, I don't see a reason to open to keep something closed forever. Like I'm alive now, and by the time these are worth any kind of money, it won't matter. So like, I may as well open them and like enjoy them. That's cool. That's really good, actually. That artwork is absolutely solid. I like that. I always love, dude, I can't get enough. I love this artwork, but these boxes are no longer the importance that they used to be because I bought the art book. So that just got me space on the shelf. So here he is, man. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at him. That's the Swamp Thing of Motu right there. He looks really cool, actually. There's a lot of detail here. Like, a lot of detail. Look at all this. This is what I mean. This is the one thing that keeps me as an opener, by the way, is this right here. Is there's so much stuff going on with him. I mean, there's an unbelievable amount of attention going on with him. I know you can't necessarily see it. This is the other reason that I kind of like to save these unboxings for my better camera, because you're getting a slight idea of what this guy looks like. Not a perfect idea, of what this guy looks like. There is so much detail. Vines, moss, different color greens. Like, to think that this guy sits at a $20 to $24 value is unreal. I mean, oh man. Like, it really is so good. And he's got these like elf-like ears, which is cool because that indicates that if he ever was a man that got turned into something like this, he was definitely, I wonder if he was like a Gar. I don't know. It never really, I don't think we've ever necessarily dove fully in to what he is in Motu, because he's very much something that has existed for so long. Let's see. Yeah, I can understand that, keeping a figure around, and that's another thing too. Is I like to take my time when I unbox something. I really like to look them over. I like to get an idea. I like to talk about what it is that happens in my imagination with these things. Like, what am I seeing? What does this mean to me in general? What's good? What's bad? What do I like? What do I dislike? I like to really take it in and know what it is that I have in my hands. Because I can't tell you how often I've bought figures, and I used to just buy them, open them, trash them, and be done with them. Like, I don't think that that's actually the way to enjoy these things. These are little pieces of art when you get right down to it. They very much are little pieces of art, and if you're going to enjoy them, you have to give yourself the ability to do so. Let me turn that off. Let me fix this real quick. Something's going on here. We'll deactivate and reactivate the focus. There, that should help. No, I love to take my time with figures, because I just want it to be worth it. That face is fantastic. And this little leaf that's on the top of his head here that goes onto his forehead, I like that too. That's just a really cool detail in general. Almost like, what do they call that? Is that a bindi? Where they have that jewel right here, that gem. I don't actually know the significance of it, but I understand that it has something to do with their religion. Like, he has like a thing kind of going on like that. This seems a little more restrictive than, no, never mind. It's starting, it's popping out now. It's moving. Woo, that turns all the way around. Is it belt? He even like takes the form of Eternian wear. So he has like the belt and the loincloth and things like that, but you can tell that he's not, I mean, he's far from a man. But because he takes forms like that, it makes me feel like he used to be a man. You know what I mean? Like, if we were to really dig into a background story for him. Like, and that's what I love about these figures, man. Just like really digging in and feeling like, what do I get out of it? Where's my imagination go? What would I do if this was my figure? And when I was a kid, that's how I used to buy figures. I would just go to the store, find figures, buy them, and be like, oh my God, so this guy's story, blah, 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 blah. So this, I don't think this, I don't see any indication. Maybe that's this hand. Yeah, I think this hand. So that means this is the one that's supposed to stretch out. I don't know, maybe it doesn't really matter, but okay, not bad. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. That is awesome. That an effect like this is even a thing for him. I kind of wish these were a little more like they could open up and like he could like wrap it around somebody or whatever. That would be cool, but it is really cool. It feels very heavy. I already notice that it's going to be a problem in terms of he can't really do like this. Yeah, he wants to fall over immediately. You would have to really mess with him to get him to have enough stand to where I'm trying to kind of get his back legs or whatnot. And they even kind of brought his feet out like this to try to help that. But I think you would have to brace this against something. This is a cool effect, but it's not very practical at all. it almost hurts him, in all honesty. He has hands for gripping, which makes me feel like you could put weapons on him, but that's, this guy is not about on a personal level. This guy needs like an open hand here. Yeah, he needs like this, like a more claw-like hand or whatever. And then I'll put that on the shelf like this, and I'll kind of get it up against something so that it kind of holds him. It's really cool. I like it. I like him. I like him a lot, actually. He's really cool. Yeah, this is a cool idea, but like you just said, right down there, I agree. Cool idea, horrible in reality. It's too heavy. Maybe if these had been like, the kind of rubber material that they're currently using for like hair and whatnot in like the Street Fighter figures, maybe that would have went here, and it would have opened them up enough that you could have like wrapped them around somebody, but I don't know. Either way, and it looks like I can stand him up just normal. Like if I'm standing him up like this kind of looks like it's going down into the ground. And even that's kind of cool because maybe you could argue that like he's communicating with the green, like Swamp Thing does. So I don't hate the idea, but I do wish that it wasn't, because it's very impractical. Like it's there, and but it's not very usable in all honesty. But he is really cool. And I'll be really surprised if we were to get another one in Masterverse. I would be really surprised. I think it'll be a while before we even have the opportunity at another one in Masterverse. The best that would make sense is if they did a Classics Masterverse like they just kind of did with Merman, where they did a Classics version of Masterverse for Merman, and that figure looks amazing. I want that. But if they do that, maybe we'll get a flocked one, and maybe they'll fix the hand thing or whatever, or maybe he won't have that at all because it'd be very much based on the earlier Moss Man, which in all honesty, I don't necessarily like that Moss Man. I like this Moss Man. This Moss Man is cool. I was unwilling to pay the $40 for the classic Moss Man because it's just Green Beast Man with flocking. It does not thrill me. Not for $40, not for Origins. And if they go the same route, then we would just be getting the Beastman body flocked in green on Masterverse. And if they cheap out that way, I don't even want it. Because I think Masterverse does a fantastic job of giving every one of the characters released up to this point personality. Like real personality. Even Faker, which came out, which is really just Blue He-Man, does not feel like Blue He-Man. Like, he has a lot of personality built into him, from the expression on his face to the way that the color is. He's got that right here. His weapons are like a makeshift Frankenstein-esque design of the weapons that we know from He-Man. That's personality. That's taking your time and making every character in Masterverse matter, not just be, you know what? Paint him blue. So that's where my mind goes with if we were to get another Moss Man. I would be very surprised if we got another Moss Man. Not entirely impossible, but I would be very shocked. And there's so much Masterverse that they've got to do now, especially after the release of Revolution and all the stuff that we still haven't got from Masterverse. Like, now that you've released a cartoon variant Teela, we almost have to see a Masterverse classic Teela. Like, we need it. Masterverse does have a style to them, all that makes the familiar characters more unique. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, every single one of them has it. Every one of them feels like they ooze personality, like they are their own thing. Like, Masterverse is so good, and it does nothing but get better and better and better and better and better. Let's be honest, as a toy line, they could have cheaped out when they did the Sorceress and Tila Sorceress. They didn't cheap out. They didn't cheap out. We had to wait because they tooled the Sorceress and they tooled Tila, and they didn't do a whole bunch of like, you know what, just like change her colors a little bit. She's a toy, nobody will care. They didn't do that. She got her own personality because she's her own character, just like the Revelation Beastman, and then they released the New Eternia Beastman, and these are two very separate things, and that makes me feel like I can have multiple mermen, and I can have multiple Beastmans, and they won't just be red Beastman, orange Beastman, Beastman with a slightly different tone to the face, green Beastman. That's not the way Masterverse works. Masterverse, I can pick up any single figure and they all ooze personality. I love it. And by the way, if there's one thing I want in Masterverse that we have not got, and they have it, they can do it. Give me Panther. Give me Panther. Take this head off. Sculpt a new head, reuse this body. I'm going to condone the idea of reuse for this. This is a big thing. I will buy it. Make it Panther. Give me a new saddle and give me that horn helmet thing that they did for Classics. And I'm on board. And I've seen people that have already customed theirs, and I'm on the verge of it. I have like 4 Battle Cats, so I probably could, but I don't have the skill level to do it that I'm aware of anyway. And I want it. I want Masterverse Panther. I want it. Like I want it. I want it. It's one of those things that every time I see Battle Cat, I think about the fact that we don't have Panther. And I love that Battle Cat. Maybe he didn't sell well. Maybe they considered him to be a failed figure. And that's a shame, because that Battle Cat's amazing. The fact that you take his helmet off, change his posture a little bit, and then he's Cringer. Like, I have him. I have him right there. Look at that Battle Cat over there. That's Cringer. Oh, the camera's all funny messing with me. That's Cringer. His posture's a little different. He's lower to the ground. He looks a little scared. I purposely tucked his neck and made him look up because he's timid. And then you take this, and with a posture change, if I put this next to him, they look like 2 different characters. And all they did was give us this face. But that's Cringer's face. We didn't get that with the original Battle Cat. The original Battle Cat, Origins Battle Cat, is just an angry cat. It is not Cringer. They're like, oh, you take the armor off and he's Cringer. No, it isn't. It absolutely isn't. It's just Battle Cat without armor. That's Cringer. And it's so much better. I know people hate it when I do this. It's way better than the Cringer that we got in Classics. In Classics, we got this weird, unmovable, single sculpt thing that was like super tiny. Regardless of how skinny Battle Cat is, because Battle Cat does get bigger. He is big. Cringer is a little smaller. But Cringer is a giant tiger. Even if he is afraid of everything, Cringer, even in his base form, is a gigantic wild cat that if he wanted to, and he wasn't chicken about everything, he has claws that are easily as big as a man's entire torso. He could end you if he wasn't afraid of you. He is a giant cat. Giving us that little thing that was like half the size of one of the characters, barely. It was small. It was like this big, and it was like barely this long or whatever. Like, I should not be able to hold Battle Cat in my hand like a little. That's not that's not Battle Cat. That's not Cringer. Cringer, I know, is a little smaller, but I never, ever, ever liked that thing that they gave everybody in Classics. I thought that was a cheap out, and I never thought it was cool. I've never liked it. I like that one right there. But, I mean, if you wanted, maybe you could call me a Masterverse apologist because it's the line that I like and maybe I'm prone to defend it. It's arguable. You might win that argument. You might win that argument. I am prone to defend Masterverse a little bit because it is the one that I prefer. It's the line that I like. Well, we are nearing the 2-hour mark. I started a little early, so we're cutting out a little early. But I honestly think that we didn't have a huge episode this time. I'm pretty tired, and I feel like it's starting to catch up to me. Because I'm off work, I'm gonna debate. I might be back. I don't know. I'm really in hard debate if I'll do something tomorrow. I'm fighting with myself about it, but we'll see. For right now, added Mossman to the shelf. Happy about that. He does look really cool. So I added Mossman to the shelf. I got 2 figures down to actually do real videos with, and I think that's about it. So if you stuck around, if you hung out, if you talked, if you dealt with the ramblings of a Reploid Bill, I thank you. And I am going to, I think I'm going to sign out. But I really did. I appreciated anybody that showed up, anybody that hung out, anybody that did the talking. And please take care, especially because I got this feeling that the winter is not over. I think we're going to have a false spring, and I think we're going to get hit at least 1 or 2 more weeks before it really dies out. So, watch yourself. And yes, not that that's anything for the chat, but yes, I do. Are you sure it's 10? I thought it was 12. If it's 10, whatever, give me a call. I'll try to remember. You can reach me on the messenger and whatnot, Seth. So that's fine. I'm gonna get out of here.